And we are live. It's been a hot minute since we've been in this little showroom. But welcome, everyone, to Dual Dynasty, your weekly WWE review show here on the BC WrestlePod network thing that we got going on. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joining me this morning / afternoon / evening, wherever you're watching this from the world. First and foremost, he has been making his grand return after a few weeks away is, back like Roman Reigns. It is the Mini. We have missed you, my friend.
Moving sucks.
Where'd you move to? Another country?
No, 4 houses down.
Damn.
Oh, that was terrible.
The problem is that this house wasn't ready till the 1st of July, so I was stuck in a hotel for 10 days.
Cool. Jeez.
So I moved all my stuff to storage for 10 days and then took my stuff out of storage and moved it 4 houses down.
That's wild.
And it took you like 4 months to do it. That's crazy.
I felt like 4 months. Shit.
Man, that's terrible.
It's been crazy, but we are happy to have you back, Minnie. I'm happy that you're all situated into the new house. And then, of course, rounding out our trifecta of a trio today is the one and only Mr. Green Thumb himself, the professor, who, man.
It was one of those, I'll go water real quick before it gets too hot. And then I got the podcast and then it got wrapped up and, there's wasps. Oh, this is dying. Oh, this isn't working. And then had to rush in here. My apologies.
Hey, it's all good. Get that farmer's tan going.
I'm trying, man. I know what my heritage is, but I still look like a cracker on mayonnaise.
Dude.
Look at you.
I'm 2 different colors, brother.
Man.
My look at his wrist. That's my watch.
Oh my god.
God.
You can afford a watch?
Sometimes. If it's alive or not. It's on the charger right now.
I've missed you guys so much.
I have a lot of problems with this SmackDown that we'll talk about.
I did it for The Rock.
That's
the first thing I thought about when this segment happened. I ain't gonna lie.
I really wanted to like going back to WWE because I've been away a little bit. I mean, I've been watching, but we haven't really reviewed consistently because of reasons. And after watching a lot of other promotions and other things going on, I came back and watched this one and just went, oh, man.
I think the other thing that sucked too is coming off of Evolution, which was amazing, by the way.
I've heard nothing but good things, which is sometimes suspicious, but it sounds amazing.
The main event had me hooping and hollering, and Rhea versus Io might potentially be on my short list for my favorite matches of the year. Like, that match was so damn good.
Really? Yeah, I've heard great. The replays I've seen or like clips and stuff like that have been fantastic, so we'll see.
So to go from that to Raw and SmackDown this week, I was like, all right, we're definitely entering. Oh crap, we have 3 weeks. Now we have 2 weeks left until SummerSlam, so we gotta we gotta start finalizing some things.
The fact that we're getting fucking Randy and Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre.
Hot garbage. I'm so upset.
Am I slightly excited because Randy's been doing nothing but hyping Jelly Roll up?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
But I don't think this is going to be no Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest.
For reals. And I think that's the unfortunate part because that is my level of when you get celebrities involved. That is the level that we need everybody to try to aspire to be. Because Damian Priest and Bad Bunny set the precedence for having that amazing street fight in San Juan.
I will say this out loud, and I can put this on the internet. I don't really care. I like Jelly Roll as a person, as a character. What he stands for, where he's come from, what he's overcome. I love his story. I even kind of like him as a personality. I hate his music. I'm not the demographic. I hear his music and go, oh, no, not me. Anyone else? Go ahead. And you have him and Paul fighting, and why? Just dumb. And I have a bigger theory we'll talk about at the end, but I'm not a fan.
Randy's just doing side quest at this point.
He really is.
He is. He's basically He's doing the Warcraft thing.
Is this our modern day Trump versus Vince McMahon?
Oh, I hate that thought.
Isn't quite the level of shave your head in the ring match. We're down that road as a promotion,
It'd be
right?
hilarious if whoever wins this match, like if
Has to get a tattoo on their face.
or if Randy wins, he has to like shave Drew McIntyre's luscious hair.
Oh, that'd be a
Not-
travesty.
Not the luscious hair. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really get a chance to when that all went down, but these are our thoughts about it. I was just like, all right, well,
Yeah,
that's
we'll
taking
talk
up a
about
thought,
it. I don't
too.
want to go full meta on it yet, but we'll talk a little bit. But it's just so what happened? Anyway,
That Go Home SmackDown was really hard to watch. I was like, we spent 30 whole minutes on that segment. That was last week, not even that was like 2 weeks ago.
I tried to watch it and I couldn't either. I was on vacation and I was like, oh, I can't do this right now. I gotta
Like,
watch all these
no.
other things. I gotta take AEW in a few days. Like, I can't watch this right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been a strict WWE dude, but the run that AEW's been on recently has just been like,
This has been wild times for sure.
Man,
The timelines are changing.
we're not quite Monday Night Wars, but it's
the funny part is what was it? All In that just happened.
yeah.
They made it six. They made it 6 hours long to contend with the double with all the WWE things that happen back to back to back.
Kinda. They've overbooked that for years. Mikey and I talked about it. That thing's always been 3, 4, or 5 hours. What's one more hour just to throw it in there? And then WWE had to scramble and change Evolution and change everything else.
I'm so glad they didn't throw Evolution on Saturday. I'm not going to front you guys.
that
I'm
would've
not
been-
gonna lie.
But Evolution, I haven't watched it. But like the fact that it was so damn good, but they booked it worth shit.
That's what bothered me about the
That's-
whole thing too. And Kilt and I talked about it during the watch along afterwards. And Kilt expressed that on the review on Monday with Adolfo while I was gone for the week.
Yeah.
It's just like the fact that TKO and Hunter didn't put the love and care into building what Evolution could be the way they did Saturday night's main event, and how both of those events turned out, specifically with Evolution being on everyone's, talking points and be like, oh my God, this was amazing. The women showed out. And then the only real things that came out of Saturday night's main event is, oh my God, Seth Rollins is actually hurt out here. And Goldberg, yeah.
Goldberg, by the
Goldberg got his
way,
retirement speech cut.
They got
my son
cut to
just
speech
handed
is
me
wild.
my son just handed me a Goldberg toy because I guess I have one. This toy is like 10, 15 years old and looks older than Goldberg now.
Right.
Dude has gray chest hair and the tattoos are like, oh my gosh, he was old then and they tried to, I don't know, man.
I'm kind of glad I missed Saturday Night main event.
WWE was so good this week. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't even talked about it.
Well, let's just jump into it. I feel like this is going to be a quick rundown.
This might be quick.
Again, we're like now at this point, we are 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. So now it's just like, okay, now let's get finalized and just throw everybody on this card as fast as we can. So I was like, okay, so let's just jump straight into it. We're going to kick things off like we normally do with Monday Night Raw. So we're going to kind of breeze through this because everything was fine. There was one match I really enjoyed, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But for those of you who haven't watched Evolutions, you're about to get spoiled because we kicked Monday Night Raw off with our new Women's World Champion, Naomi. Naomi cashing in towards the tail end of the main event at Evolution and successfully gaining the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. And I was just like, finally, her girl finally gets her due. Like, I've been saying this for the last 5-6 years. I was just like, finally, no injuries so far, knock on wood, to make her relinquish the championship. No bad booking of minority. Well, I can't say that because Hunter is still not going to be beating the anti-black agenda of booking them poorly. But
we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, Naomi kicks things off, addressing the crowd. The crowd is behind her. Inside, she is loving this, but she gotta still be the heel persona, calling out the fans, saying that you weren't feeling this, you weren't giving this same energy when it was Feel the Glow, but now it's Proceed with Caution. Y'all want to be on here, okay? But she puts the Raw Women's Division on notice, which then prompts first Mommy Rhea Ripley to come out and interrupt, saying that she wants another chance at that title because Naomi took that moment away from her. And then both of them are interrupted by Io, who says that, she wants a rematch and you have to respect all the women here. And Naomi's like, no, I don't. I'm champion. I'm going to do whatever I want. I cashed it in. Y'all are mad. Which then, as we look to be getting a brawl of some sort, a brewing, Adam Pearce, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce comes out and says, guess what, y'all? We're going to run this back again because everybody loved it at Evolution. That's not what he said, but that's exactly the corporate speak translation of everything. It's like, y'all loved it so much at Evolution. We're going to run it back again, but we're going to add this. And at SummerSlam, it is made official from Adam Pearce, Naomi defending her title against Rhea and Io. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, once again, Hunter, you're not beating the anti-black allegations. This is literally WrestleMania. Just you take out Bianca Belair for Naomi. Which I'm not mad at, but still, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they're just running it back to a degree, which is
It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, you don't want more out of this? You think this is okay?
It makes sense. Like that storyline,
Sure.
this is where it's where you go. You don't need to add a fourth person to it. That don't make no sense.
I hope they don't. You're right.
Whoever would have won that match, if Io would have lost, she would have gotten her rematch. So Io's getting her rematch, and technically Rhea didn't lose, so she got cashed in on. So they would also get the rematch. So it just makes sense. It's a logical move. The only other thing you could do to this match is like, all right, it's a triple threat fucking ladder match.
So so Naomi's losing this.
I don't think she loses this early.
I don't think so either.
Unless it's like a final hoorah to get.
I hope not. I don't know if I trust Triple H, but I hope not.
I don't think. I think Naomi's gonna hold on to it for at least a little bit longer. I don't think she loses at Hot WrestleMania.
Exactly.
I think she holds on to it for a little bit. I think some shenanigans maybe come into play here.
Sure.
I do think Io takes a pin.
Damn.
Yeah, I think so too.
If Naomi's not losing, Rhea's not taking a pin.
Sure. No, that's the thing, right? And that's what's hard is now we kind of know they only have one direction to go, or else they totally screw Naomi, which
is not fun.
Don't put past.
Right. I don't think that's going to happen. I thought she's going to win and then lose it 3 weeks later. I don't think they're going to treat her like her brother-in-law.
I
don't know. That's why I'm suspicious. I'm a little.
Well, even Jay held on to the World Heavyweight Championship for longer than that. He lost the IC belt really quick, but he held on to the World Championship for a little bit longer than that.
That's also very true.
Sure.
I think what also doesn't help in this is that, well, I hope Naomi keeps it, but I think what doesn't help is that I think we won't know who's going to walk out as a champion until SummerSlam, and I'm going to be so for real. I don't think WWE knows who they want to walk out as the winner of this match because, once again, Evolution, that Battle Royale was fun, but the problem is we know that whoever walks out as champion here already has their next opponent lined up in Stephanie Vaquette and Clash in Paris. So I'm just looking at these matchups, and I was just like, I'm excited for any of these three, but I honestly don't know what WWE is going to. I don't know who WWE going to pick as the winner to face Stephanie in Paris, but we'll see when that we'll cross that bridge and we'll get on that bus when it comes by. So we move on from our opening segment. Judgment Day shenanigans abound. Dominic is still not cleared, and he's trying to keep a low profile because AJ Styles out here running around trying to get a match with him. Finn Balor gives some encouraging words to Roxanne and Raquel about going out there, setting an example for the tag team division. And Raquel's like, "Are you being for real?" In this last picture, looking at Finn is just like, "Are you being for real right now?" So this leads into our first match of the evening, which was a non-title match. People are saying it was for the championships. It was not, because I had to double check my resources and my references. But we get Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez taking on the Kabuki Warriors of the reunited Asuka and Kairi Sane. This was a fun match. Of course, we knew that Kabuki Warriors were going to lose because I I still thought this was a fun match, and Raquel and Roxanne are slowly building up a friendship. So yeah.
I'm also completely here for all the AJ Styles, Dominic Mysterio shenanigans.
I'm gonna be so for real. Them and New Day and Grayson Waller, when we get to it a little bit later, I was just like, they're kind of carrying right now in an otherwise bland Raw that was this past week. So we're gonna get into all that. But Judgment Day girls are victorious. At this point in the week, I was just like, I'm interested to see what is going to happen at SummerSlam with these titles, because it seems like they're trying to put all the titles on the line at SummerSlam because it's 2 nights. So I feel like you kind of have to. We get our answer on Friday. Well, we'll get our answer in a little bit when we talk about SmackDown, but yes. So moving on, we get an update. And I've seen a lot of conversation happening about this, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but Paul Heyman gives us an update that the timeline for Seth Rollins, we don't know what's happening right now with Seth, but it doesn't matter because Seth has until next June to cash in this Money in the Bank briefcase. So basically the corporate translation is, no, we are not stripping Seth and having a ladder match to get a new Money in the Bank winner. And I'm just like, man, why? I was like, and you know what? I do have to agree with some people, because y'all are going to let Seth hold on to this. I know it's not a championship, but you're going to make Naomi strip her title after she was injured for a little bit, after we've seen some of our men counterparts hold on to their titles despite injury. It is what it is. I was just like, y'all could have Seth can always get it back. Like, have a new Money in the Bank or have a #1 contender ladder match, not even for the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I think the only thing that saves this is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman can talk his way into being that swarmy executive bad guy. We're going to hold on to it for Seth thing. It sounds like Seth is hurt.
Yeah, there's a video of him on crutches with his daughter.
Yeah, that he's messed up. And like it was on Instagram. Someone had a post of him in the hospital room, just absolutely defeated. Like there's another post of him giving an interview that hasn't been released yet, talking about it. It's like, oh, he might be out for a long time. And the injury itself, when you watch it, like, it's those scary, I don't want to say non-contact, that's not what I mean, but those sort of, that shouldn't have done anything type of moves.
That's like, the same way he injured his knee last time.
I know. I was about to say.
That's right. I heard that.
And he goes, I'm hoping to be back by WrestleMania season.
That's a long time away. So again,
yeah, well, yes and no, right? January, February?
That might not even be enough time. We'll see, man.
Yeah, he might be out for a long time, unless he meant a year from now.
True. And this also kind of tells us is like, we're going to be switching up plans with Braun and Bronson, who are going to have to be holding it down now that Seth is out of the picture for a while. So we're going to get to Braun's Breaker a little bit later in this episode, because right now, this was my favorite match of the whole entire Raw. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Winner goes on to face Becky for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. This was my favorite match. Both women did awesome. Bayley gets the quick roll up for the first pinfall. Lyra gets the second. This went on for like 25 whole minutes, and Lyra Valkyria ultimately gets the second and final pinfall to secure her spot in a match against Becky at SummerSlam. And all I gotta say is I'm excited. But poor Bayley once again is missing another Big 4 pay-per-view as of right now.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Bayley. I don't know. She has like no direction right now.
And she's come out and talked about it, right? Didn't she give an interview not too long ago? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure why.
At least in her podcast with Chris Van Vliet, I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing with Bayley. And she's like, I have no clue what they're doing. And and I think this is important to talk about, because in wrestling, we always use the term like the good soldier mentality, as you're always here to do your job. You do whatever they ask of you and this like that. And I'm just like, that's cool. But I also feel like if you go and do the good soldier mentality, I feel like you need to reward your good soldiers in the company.
And they don't.
And I was just like, Bayley has done everything. And I mean, I like Bayley, so I have a little bit of a bias, but like she's not afraid to put over anyone. She's not selfish when she wrestles. She does everything that's asked of her. And somehow they always they're not giving Bailey a chance or an opportunity. And I'm just like, why, you guys?
And when they do, it's like super short lived.
It's so stupid. And don't get me wrong, I love Lyra with all my little heart. But I feel like Lyra still has more time in this company to kind of get to a level of, oh my gosh, she is going to be amazing and things like that. Not to say that Bailey's going to be done with wrestling like in a year about it, but like we are in the middle of this chapter. Bailey has been here long enough. We need to give her more than what she's being given. Like
she needs to be treated like a four horsewoman that she is.
I was like, it's a running meme and a running gag that Bailey is the 4 horsewoman that's always left behind, because Mercedes out here collecting belts like the Infinity Gauntlet around the world. Becky is out here getting big push, like since her return not too long ago after being a mother for 2 years.
Yeah.
We have Charlotte Flair, who I'm enjoying with Alexa Bliss, and I'm kind of laughed when she said what she said in her promo backstage with Alexa Bliss. But I'm like, why is Bailey always left off the card? I don't understand, you guys.
It's the point now where it's suspicious, right? It's the point now where we're talking about it out of context. Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. We know it can be crowded sometimes, but you're right. The whole soldier mentality thing that you're speaking to is something I was going to say. So I'm glad you said that. It's odd. And that's, I'm not to invoke previous eras, but those folks who went in day out and just never got rewarded. And you could go down the whole list. And sadly, Bailey's fallen into that the last year and a half, 2 years or so. Like, what's going on? They got rid of Dermacato and then kind of let her tread water.
Dermacato.
I could have a vowel. Anyway.
I can.
We're off the rails. Make it go.
Oh no, it's happening.
I don't know what's happening, you guys. But no, again, I really enjoyed this match. This was my favorite match of Raw this past week, but I want to see more for Bailey. I think Becky versus Lyra is going to be a lot of fun, but we haven't had a chance to breathe for me to want to appreciate this even more, because we just saw these two go at it we got to see it at Money in the Bank back in June. We just saw a triple threat at Evolution. And now here we are. So I'm just like, all right, well, this still should be fun, but we'll see what happens. Shout out to new friend. Hey, Marion.
Oh,
hey, what's up,
shoot.
Man? How you doing?
Welcome. We're just talking about Monday Night Raw right now. So let's get into what happened next in the show, at least what I want to cover. And again, yeah, we get the official graphic, Becky versus Lyra. Should be fun. Poor Bailey.
Exactly. Yeah, that should be fantastic though. I'm glad we're running it back.
Yeah. So, man, poor Bailey. Stephanie McCare, she comments on winning.
Look at her face.
She's just like, I have to be here for this. This is crazy. God. But she's so annoyed with Chelsea, and I'm kind of here with it. But Stephanie talks about winning the Evolution of Battle Royale, getting a guaranteed championship match at Clash in Paris. But then she's interrupted by Chelsea in the Secret Harvest, where Chelsea basically calls Stephanie a loser in Spanish. I was like, you go Duolingo, you get it. And then, of course, should we end this backstage segment with Chelsea, quoting what was about to happen next, telling Stephanie she can look, but she can't touch us. Which, shout out to production, because then we segue into Nikki Bella's theme song playing, which was very kind of great. I was just like, I see what you did there, production. That was fun. But, I mean, we do get into this match, Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. This was kind of rough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This was rough. Chelsea did great trying to make Nikki look great, but you could tell it's been a while since Nikki has been in this ring.
Why is Nikki back in the ring?
I was just like, I know that y'all were supposed to have Nikki. I know you were supposed to have a program with Liv before she got injured, and I don't know if we're gonna continue to use this like this, or this was just like one and done. I don't know, but I was like, this was rough. I'm not even going front.
Why'd she come back? Anyone know? Is it just a quick payday? Is it just Saudi was like, I want to see her again? Was it?
Well, Breen's getting ready to make a comeback too.
And I think the plan was going to be potentially if they could get Brie to come back to wrestling, get for a one-off the Bellas versus the Judgment Day girls with Liv and Raquel taking on the Bellas. But because Liv is injured, we're probably pivoting. And it might, well, I mean, we'll see what happens because we still got some time before Clash in Paris, because what happens after the match is that Nikki ends up beating Chelsea. Chelsea and the Secret Harvest beat up Nikki, and then Stephanie comes out for the save in all of this. And I'm just like, okay. So it seems Nikki and Stephanie might be teaming up against Chelsea and the squad, which is cool. I just feel like we could have found somebody else that wasn't Nikki to do this, but it is what it is.
It just feels like there's someone above everyone pulling these strings and pulling wrestlers that they used to like 20 years ago. And I really want to see them. I'm paying for it. And
this literally feels like toy boxing wrestling, as we talk about all the time.
Like, the action figure thing. Yeah.
The action figures is just like, I like this, so we're going to put her here.
So, and I don't know if that's best for business, but some people are loving it because they like the soap opera of the thing. They like the polish of the thing. But there's certain matches, if you're really watching, that suffer. And like, I don't know if that's what you want out there. Saturday night main event.
Anyways, so we move on from this. Stephanie Vaquer comes out for the save. So we probably are getting this. Also, I have just abandoned that brands exist because everybody's just being crossed over now just because Chelsea is now on Raw. Sure. I was like, okay. We'll see what happens because that draft is supposed to be coming up after SummerSlam. So we'll see. These four are carrying the backstage segments right now for me this week. First and foremost, Adam Pearce is having a full-on conversation with Still in Mourning, the New Day. I love the Black Ensemble, and somehow Grayson Waller is here. And the New Day are bribing Adam Pearce with they're bribing Adam Pearce to give the New Day a rematch for their tag team championships by offering up wigs. I was like, oh my God, this is so stupid, but I'm here for all of this. And Adam Pearce is a good job of also leaning into the absurdity of it. It's just like, no, I'm not going to wear this wig. This isn't the right color anyways. I was like, I love you, Adam Pearce.
That actually sounds kind of funny. I actually don't hate that.
So then Scrap Daddy excuses himself because Judgment Day is leaving. And Adam Pearce lets Dominic know that next week he's going to have the doctor reevaluate him. And if he's clear, he's going to defend that title against AJ. And so as Dominic is questioning what he going to do, the camera pans to AJ over here, bended knee, praying to God, please God, if you're there, it's me, Margaret. Just kidding. No, but AJ is just like, please God, let Dominic be cleared so I can beat his ass for the IC title. Dominic then also says, please God, don't let that happen. I am still hurting. Don't let that happen. And then we end the segment by going back to AJ and saying, please God, ignore Dominic Mysterio. And I was just like, this was wild. I was like, this is so dumb, but I was here for all of it. I'm not even going to lie.
Dom needs to get like some quack doctor who just keeps signing out the thing, being like, nope, he can't. Nope, he can't. Just bring a different doctor out every week. It'd be so good.
I think AJ understands that he believes he's not being utilized properly in this whole thing, but he's just leaning into everything. Like a couple weeks ago when he pulled out the dad glasses to read the doctor's note from Dominic on Raw.
Yeah, you're a punk ass.
That was really funny.
Or the cake.
Oh, the cake. Get well soon. And then he's like creeping around the corner in the Judgment Day clubhouse. I was just like, AJ knows this is silly, but he's leaning into it.
AJ knows he's in the last 6 months of his tour. He's going over to TNA to do some cool stuff. Like he knows. So he's just here to have fun and goof.
Sidebar. I'm very interested to see how AJ plays a part in tonight, but stay tuned for that announcement later at the evening for our watch along tonight. But yeah. Everybody in this picture here just realizes that this is kind of ridiculous, but they're here for it. I'm kind of digging this new all black look for the New Day. I'm not going front. All black, everything, make them look drippy. Love them. We get a promo from Gunther, who tried to convince us that it was an amazing thing to wrestle Goldberg, and it was even better to retire him. That second half, I believe. But Gunther, we know in the back of our minds, you did not want to do this, but again, you did it anyways.
I didn't watch it. I refused to watch it. Is it worth watching?
No.
Damn.
I will say it's kind of crazy that at Saturday night's main event of all things, clocking in at like 14 and a half minutes is the second longest Goldberg match in his whole entire wrestling career, which is wild.
Serious?
Yeah, wow. They went for 14 whole minutes. It was crazy.
I saw that there's a photo of the Chop Goldberg no selling that's just destroying his chest, and Goldberg just stone face. Like, come on.
Lean into it, damn it. But that's besides the point. Alrighty. But then he gets interrupted by Braun Breaker, of all people, telling him that he's going to eventually come out of that title, which is setting up our main event in this gauntlet match. And Gunther's just like, okay, if you win, cool. If you don't, that's on you. But it doesn't matter who wins because I'm going to destroy whoever walks out winner tonight at SummerSlam. I was like, damn straight. Though I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll talk about it right now because we'll go backstage really quick before our main event. We are getting a rematch between Mr. Rusev and Sheamus, and I was just like, round 2, let's go. This is something that I care about because their first encounter was great. Now I want them to up the ante. Give me a Donnybrook match to be the rubber match between the two of these guys.
Just kill each other, man.
Just kill each other. That's all we need.
European style, just beat the fuck out of each other.
Yes. But main event time. We get a number 1 contenders gauntlet match. These are the 5 people involved in this. We got Penta, Braun Breaker, LA Knight, Juicy Uzi himself, Jay Uso, and CM Punk. As soon as I saw these 5, I was just like, oh, for sure Punk's going to win. And the way that this match went is exactly how I went. So we started with Penta versus Braun. This did not last even 6 minutes. Braun ends up beating Penta. Braun beats LA Knight next. That went about a little bit longer. LA Knight looked great. I wish they stopped playing in Mr. Knight's face with all this stuff, but it is what it is. Braun beats LA. Braun beats Jay in quick fashion too. It didn't even get into double digits of match wrestling, which was kind of crazy. And then Braun, running through the gauntlet, defeating 3 out of the 4 other people in this match, finally loses to CM Punk, who comes out last. Punk is going on, punches his ticket, and we are on our way to SummerSlam with Gunther versus CM Punk. I was just like, I knew he was going to win, but you couldn't have spiced it up a little bit. Like, you had to have Braun Breaker run through everybody just for him to lose because of shenanigans and distraction. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, LA Knight and Penta continue to get buried a little bit.
Stop playing in their faces.
Yeah, just crushing them. And I don't know what they're doing to LA Knight or why. It seems like they gave him a little bit of hope, and then the first 6 months of this year, they've kind of dropped him. So I don't know. We're in the second half of the year, and I was hoping that they would, let him get into that, stop floating around the mid card, put him someplace. Now he's kind of stuck. It's unfortunate.
I don't know what you do with him from here. I don't.
I don't know. I'm just like, LA Knight, we love you, man. I wish they stopped playing in your face like
unless
that.
Unless they make him win the Royal Rumble.
They better at this point, but we've been saying this for 3 years. I was just like,
I wanted him
going to.
He should have won Money in the Bank the last 2 years.
He should have had at least this year, but whatever.
Would have been perfect, but
it is what it is. After, though, we get a bit of a beatdown because, the whole entire Paul Heyman squad beats up CM Punk. Jay Uso tries to even the odds, but they're too much for it. And then we get the return of the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, for like the 18th time. And I was just like, yeah, I knew he was coming back for SummerSlam. And it seems that we are pivoting because now it's probably going to be Roman and Jay versus the Paul Heyman squad at SummerSlam in some capacity. Crowd lost their absolute mind with the return of Roman Reigns. Roman and Jay shook hands. They going to be on the same side, which is nice in this whole thing. I was just like, I don't mind this.
Apparently, Roman's booked to be on every episode of Raw till the 2 episodes we're gonna get.
Yeah, I was just like, But
Every episode he's on Raw and SmackDown. I don't know, but I did see he's going to be on. He's going to be consistent until SummerSlam.
right, and normally we don't like this part-time schedule with our wrestlers, but Roman has gone on the record saying that, while it hasn't come back yet, he is still trying to be as mindful as he possibly can because his leukemia might be coming back if he's not too careful. I mean,
there's other symptoms and other things that come with that. So
he wants to wrestle for a decent amount of time, and in order for him to be able to do that, he needs to limit his dates.
Yeah, which I was just like, I'm here for that, Roman. You get my full support, my friend. But yeah, with Roman and Jay kind of shaking it down, Roman staring at Punk, and that is how Raw goes off the air this week. So overall, a pretty decent Raw. There was not a lot of filler, or at least the ones I didn't include. So gonna be interesting to see what the next 2 weeks of WWE looks like as we head into the hot WrestleMania, as Minnie has put it, for Raw. All right, kids. Now let's get into this. Now we got to talk about the Smacketh of Downs, because SmackDown was interesting, to say the least.
I did it for The Rock.
Exactly. Literally, you could summarize SmackDown as that. It's like, I did it for The Rock. Why are you running?
Basically.
Well, before you start, Professor, because I'm gonna have you open this up. I want
go
you
ahead,
to
go
give
ahead.
your honest opinion on this picture right here, because we had a car accident to kick off SmackDown this week.
That's what I talked about. I did it for The Rock.
This is one of the worst promos I've seen. This was terrible. Everyone's cardboard. No one's acting anything. The guys they have being cops don't know how to be cops. They're just locals in cop uniforms. Like, completely took me out of it. It just felt like, oh, AEW can do blood? We can do blood. Look at the blood we can do. Like, what are you doing here?
I was like, what is happening?
If you get in a car crash and you split your eyebrow, there's no medical anyone here. Just the truth of the circumstances and everything was just so goofy to me. Cody walking right in the middle of a police investigation, like, hey, talk about that contract later. Yeah, okay, great. I'm in the middle of something right now. Yeah, obviously. Like, it's just, this was too stagey. This was too kayfabe, even for someone who loves goofy wrestling. Like, they couldn't sell this to save their lives. This was bad. I did not like this. This was cartoony to me, and I love that stuff. But they took it.
It was like kids show level cartoony.
Yeah, it was like, this isn't working, and you can tell by the cop who's jacked. Cops aren't jacked. Look at him, like he's filling out this whole uniform. Like, no, that's not. And they all have different badges. Like, come on. This was hard to watch.
I gotta highlight this in the chat real quick. It's like, homie was like, man, forget the car crash. Hey, you got my contract?
Exactly right. Hey, I know there's an investigation, like picking up the caution tape. Like, by the way, we gotta do a signing soon, right? Like, And what's disappointing is they've done so much better with these. Like, since Triple H showed up and started doing, the production value went through the roof, and now they're just kind of slapdash throwing things together. This was tough. This was hard.
I mean, the cardboard was acting. The blood, I'm not looking for realistic, but I was just like, you placed it in the weirdest place for Mr. Tonga over here. Like,
he's just standing there bleeding.
I was like, if you guys,
I forgot he came back.
Ooh, that tells you something.
We all did, because it's been crazy out here. So we gonna come back to part 2 later. And I'm like, Jacob Fatu, you're the only thing I liked about this whole thing. I was like,
Jade getting thrown into the thing, thrown into the car, that whole ambulance thing. We know they can do the scary production value Law and Order thing.
Dun dun.
Dun dun. Why they chose to do this? Odd, just weird.
Who knows? So we're gonna come back for part 2 and 3 later in this episode, because right now I got a chuckle out of this, and honestly, I hope the tag team name is officially We're Not Friends, but I love it. So Charlotte and Alexa,
Partners of Convenience.
Yeah, partners of convenience. We love that. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are backstage. Charlotte is just like, hey, so I literally walked into Adam Pearce's office and I got us a tag team championship match at SummerSlam. And I was just like, good on you, Charlotte. I was just like, no, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But what I loved about this, though, is that Alexa is playing the audience in her response. She's like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me, Charlotte, that you just walk up to, you can go to Adam Pearce anytime, ask for a championship match, and Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are just going to give it to you? And Charlotte's like, yeah, just because, you know, I'm not a singles champion right now doesn't mean I'm not a Flair. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the best thing, Charlotte, that you could have done.
There it is. That's the everyone on that Reddit community went, I told you.
But I love it because it's the way Charlotte and Alexa are taking that power and using it for something a lot of fun. I was like, that is how we do it. You acknowledge it, Charlotte. It is out there now on screen. Like, we are not hiding the fact that we know, we've been knowing, and the fact you acknowledge it, fourth wall breaking, loved it. I don't care. I love this team of Alexa and Charlotte. I think it's doing wonder. I think it's doing good for Charlotte because I'm loving her more and more.
She's finally having fun, right?
Exactly.
She's been a serious, angry, bitchy heel for so long. And what's hard is we sort of, then you get the sort of backstage rumors and how she treats people and everything else. She's fantastic to the fans and she has lifted up a lot of women, but we all do kind of roll our eyes and go, great, Charlotte's here. Now she's going to cut to the front of the line. Well, you're going to play into that. Sure.
So,
but this has been fun. I enjoyed watching the two of them.
I do. And, well, that does lead us into, well, again, because we are getting a tag team championship match at SummerSlam. The Judgment Day girls are going up against We Are Not Friends / Partners of Convenience. But I'm still excited. I love the Judgment Day girls. I still feel we could do more with them. But honestly, I would be okay if Charlotte and Alexa took the titles at SummerSlam and run with it for a little bit.
Really?
I think it's fun. I think Evolution has taught me that I feel like maybe I'll put this. Judgment Day girls retain at SummerSlam, and then we get a rubber match where we can finally put it on Alexa and Charlotte. But who knows? SummerSlam is going to go crazy. Who knows? Because they might just throw all the titles everywhere.
They have an opportunity to, but they might screw Naomi. I'm just saying.
There are so many places. But this does lead us into our first official match of the evening. Charlotte Flair versus Raquel Rodriguez. I appreciate that Charlotte wasn't kidding when she said she wanted Alexa to bring out the pom-poms, because Alexa brought out the pom-poms.
And they had a role to play in this.
Yes. I was just like, yes, tag team. This is what I need. Like, if you're a tag team, you got to be supporting your tag team partner. And that is exactly what Alexa does. Because Charlotte and Raquel go for a little bit. This was pretty good. I like this. Alexa boops Raquel with the pom-pom, which is enough of a distraction for Charlotte to hit a big boot across the face and allow Charlotte to pick up the win over Raquel, which also sets up where you're getting Alexa and Roxanne next week. So I was just like, I'm here for this. So this was part of SmackDown. I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. This was a fun match.
Yeah, this was fun. Raquel looked a little uncomfortable in the second half of this. I'm not sure if stuff changed or if she hated what she was wearing, but she kind of got stuck here and there with some of the stuff they were calling on the fly. They worked really well together. I don't know if we've seen them a lot together in the past. I can't quite recall. They did. This was fine. This was a SmackDown. This was fun. This was okay. I have problems with a lot of other things. This was fine.
I agree. We're going to get into those. Jacob Fatu is not here. Punk ass police officer.
Punk ass police.
So, okay. On the one hand, I was just like, Jacob Fatu, I love you with all my heart. I really, really do. But again, because we are literally called the Biconics and BC WrestlePod as a whole has established themselves as a certain type of platform, I'm not sure if I vibe with peoples of colors having to go into questioning with police officers. And I was just like, realistically, Jacob Fatu would like flatten every single one of these guys, not even going front.
Right. And that's why if it's 3 people of color officers, which would not happen, it would be 3 white guys. I don't know. Just something about that. Like no guns, no radios. no gear, just casually going, "You're a part of our investigation." Like, no, I don't believe any of this. You're not really cops. You're done.
I was just like, what is mall security doing here?
Yeah, they're trying really hard to be like, we're hard, we're cops. Like, you're not cops. That's not even how cops look. Cops, I haven't seen a cop wear that shirt in 30 years, man. Like, what are we doing?
This is wild. But Jacob's just like, I don't want to go with them with these punk ass police officers, but he's like, fine, I'm gonna do it. So part 2 has Jacob going with the police officers to answer some questions. And I was just like, when we get to part 3, I'm gonna summarize this, but I was just like, I already know this trope. I was like, I know where we're heading with this because I write too much, and I feel like sometimes that's a detriment as a wrestling fan because, like, I see where we're going. I would have been okay with it had the execution of said trope been executed better. But we're gonna come back to this saga of the car crash and Jacob when we get to the final part of this, thing through line for the end of the episode. Because right now, I actually really like this dual promo video package for Tiffy and Jade because we show a lot of comparisons between the two because the two of them have had similar journeys. Both of them have held some sort of championship gold, whether it's in WWE or in another company. They both debuted in the Royal Rumble, and they both have goals of being at the top of the women's division. But the key difference between both of them is that Tiffy is making sure that Jade doesn't take that title from her, and she's going to remain at the top. And Jade is going to make a name for herself by finally being the one to dethrone Tiffy and take the title. I really enjoyed these dual promos from these two. Also, the lighting makes it very good because we have cool yellow tones for Tiffy and cool blue tones for Jade. And I was just like, colorology will work at its finest. Like it was like not one's evil, not one's the good guy, not one's strictly the bad guy, but both of them are good guys. And using cool colors illustrates that fact according to color theory and things like that. Yes, yeah, my artist brain in me.
Someone went to film class. Like someone paid attention to this stuff. I'm not disagreeing with you. Mm-hmm. I think they're doing a disservice to Jade, making her read off cue cards. They're killing her. Because if this had been all narration, like I'm going to narrate my story to you and what I've been doing, I think Jade could have come out of this a little better. And there's a few moments in here where they kind of let her go off script and she kind of says things that are truthful in what she's feeling. And you see a little bit of that character. You see a little bit of her coming out of that shell. Tiffany's all, in the moment character. I'm just going to say whatever I want. She really gets the moment of the thing. I think the second half of this promo, they let Jade go. The beginning of this for her is really tough. Like, I know where I came from. I know who I am. It's like, oh no, don't just read it. You gotta breathe a little. You gotta
be the character a little bit, You
get in there. And
I know where I came from.
Yeah, like don't read the punctuation. Like, come on, Jade. But like, that aside, I do think this does what we needed for the match, and I'm interested. I think they're going to work great together.
No, and then of course, if it wasn't told to us beforehand, it is going to be Tiffy versus Jade at SummerSlam. So Jade winning Queen in the Ring. She's going up against Tiffy, so should be fun. I really hope that this delivers because I feel like both of them have kind of had a rough 2025. So I really want this to shine for both of them because they both deserve it. And I love both of them. Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes doesn't get an actual finish because Aleister Black is having none of it. Or Malachi Black, I should say. No, Aleister. I'm losing track of names here. Dark Daddy Aleister here.
He's being a heel, which is good.
Mr. Selena Vega.
Mr. Selena Vega, yes. Oh my God, he is so funny on Selena's podcast and the Twitch stream he does sometimes is like, he's another one who doesn't take himself too seriously, and I love him for it.
Which is a shame because WWE is taking him way too serious and kind of killing him.
Well, so again, I was like, Carmelo Hayes versus Damian Priest. All right, here we go. We get about 7 minutes worth of stuff, and then Aleister attacks Damian, which is setting up something for them to do, if not at SummerSlam, down the line at some point, which I'm here for. I think Damian versus Aleister might be great. And I was just like, all right, you get this week, you get a DQ pass because it's the only one for WWE this week that we had a DQ finish. So I'm like, okay with this. But at the same time, why my boy Mello not being given something? Like, what is happening with Mello?
Oh, Melo's just been crushed. They gave him the Andre, which was something, and ever since then they're like, "But you're going to stay at this level. You're not going to proceed." I kind of want more for Black. I think he's kind of stuck here, and they don't know what to do. The Damian angle doesn't really interest me because it just came from out of nowhere, and
I thought we were getting. Yeah, I thought we were getting more of Alistair and Ron killings because that's what we've been getting for the last 2 weeks, and it feels like we kind of just pivoted and dropped.
We're just like, okay, we're gonna go to Damien now. Okay, thanks, bye. And how we got here and what we did just seemed arbitrary to me. It makes me sad because this is kind of the LA Knight treatment. Like, you're gonna get something. Well, just kidding. We're gonna give you this. It's like, okay. When all they had to do was make Black dark and broody forever. And it would have worked. Show up in the dark, cut a promo once and now and then, and just kick people in the face. That's all you have to do. And now he's this sort of, they're going to do this suit and tie bad guy thing. Like, I guess. I'm nervous they're going to go Karrion Kross on him and just not know what to do, give him a faction every now and then let him rot in this purgatory of a lower mid card, which makes me sad because he's ridiculous talented.
He is. So we will see. We got 2 weeks till SummerSlam. We're going to see how we develop this. This will probably end up being on SummerSlam in some capacity. We'll cross that bridge if we ever get there. So the Wyatt Six are new. Well, of course, we didn't discuss SmackDown last week, but the Wyatt Six are now our SmackDown, our World Tag Team Championships, our WWE Tag Team Champs. I have a theory about this, so I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. But basically, they talk about in this promo that no other tag team is going to be able to take the titles from them because everybody is too blinded by their own selfish desire and, goes through everything. They mentioned to list all of the teams, whether it be their own egos, their lust for gold and some other things that, they're here to send a message and they're here to test the tag teams. And that goes into my theory. I'm just like, I don't trust WWE to be this smart when it comes to these kinds of meta things. But what I would like to see is that the Wyatts challenge all the SmackDown tag teams, put them to the test to see who truly has a bond like an actual tag team or who's going to fall apart underneath the pressure because their selfishness comes into fruition. I was like, I'm here for this meta narrative. I don't trust WWE to be smart enough to execute it well.
Right.
Go, Mini, go. Go, Mini, go.
I mean, it's the Wyatt Six. I don't know what you want to say here. Like, the match that followed this was pretty cool. The 4-way tag match.
Right. So, I mean, we can kind of put those things together. So let's get into it because but before we get to the tag match though, so Jacob Fatu was not guilty, which we all knew, which leads into a Solo Sikoa promo and a whole entire brawl. And coming to find out that Solo set this whole thing up. This man is going to jail.
I love that the police did a 45-minute investigation only to clear a man without a court or jury or anything else or detainment for a certain amount of time or even, cross-examination or questioning. They just went, you know what? It's not you.
We're a wrestling podcast, but it's just like, let's be real. With the state of how the actual justice system currently is, I'm like, it's not that far off of a stretch of what we saw here, but that's a whole nother issue.
It would have been different if it was he was detained, he's in the cop car, we see him a month later, and the judge goes, there's no case, and then he goes, wreaks havoc. The fact that this happened within 45 minutes
could be actually kind of fun, not even going front, but
great.
But we have 2 weeks until SummerSlam, so we got to speed it up.
This was dumb. And then it didn't work for me the whole time. Just maybe it's just my distrust of police, but like that's not what would happen, especially if you look like Fatu. And Fatu's from Sacramento, so he knows. Like this is not how that's gonna work.
Oof.
But anyway,
it hits all too real, but it is very true. But again, Celo's getting arrested for framing this, but prior to all this, Jimmy's out here to help Jacob, which we already kind of knew. And then Nick Aldis tells us that at SummerSlam, Solo will be defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu, but it's going to be in a steel cage match. So I'm just like, we just backed ourselves into the corner with this one because somebody is not going to look out. Somebody is walking out here not being booked the best. It was like, you can't have, to me, now that you give Solo this title, there's no way you're going to have him give it back to Jacob in this match. But by all intents and purposes, even with the numbers game, there's no way that Jacob should not beat Solo's ass in that steel cage. Like, let's be real.
I think they're gonna screw Solo here. They're gonna make him a transitional as well. We're gonna see a huge pivot at SummerSlam. That's what it just feels like. And I know my picks are bad.
Hear me
Say
out.
what?
Rikishi comes back.
Oh my god!
I've been calling for that for 3 years, man. They're not gonna do it.
He said if the fans chant Rikishi, I'll come back.
They've been chanting Rikishi,
and I'll do it for The Rock.
Oh my god! So. Am I excited for this match in a steel cage? Yes, because I'm a sicko who likes watching steel cage matches. And I think Jacob, anytime I get to see Jacob do his magic is going to be amazing. But I was just like, WWE, once again, you backing yourselves in corners with, your story writing. And I put that in air quotes because it's thinly veiled. But I digress. So this was a fine match. Stephanie versus, Alba Fire. First of all, I was like, why is Stephanie here? She's on Raw. And I was like, well, never mind. That doesn't matter because if Chelsea can go to Raw, we can just be throwing superstars around any brand at this point. So this was a fine match. I like Alba, but we already knew she wasn't going to beat Stephanie because Stephanie is the hot commodity right now in WWE and the women's division in terms of our international stars, so I don't really want to talk about the match, but I do want to bring up something. I was like, I love me some Stephanie. I really, really do. But SmackDown, I have a question for you. Where the hell is Julia? She is literally your new Women's United States champion. Why has she not been on SmackDown in person backstage segment in like 2.5 weeks since winning that title? Like, where is Julia?
That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that, which is sad that I forgot about that.
So I was just like, what happened, y'all? Like, why are we not showcasing Julia? Like, Julia, Carmelo Hayes, like SmackDown has a lot of people and we're just not putting on TV. I don't get it.
Is she hurt?
No, that's the thing, because Julia competed in the Battle Royale Evolution, which is another thing too. I was like, why are champions competing in this thing? Like, that makes no damn sense to me, but it is what it is at this point. But Stephanie picks up the win. I already knew what we were getting into this, continuing the feud with Chelsea and Piper and Stephanie and all of them. So we move on. So the Profits are looking to get their titles back. I was like, damn straight, run that back again, because Wyatt 6 versus Profits was a pretty good match. And I was like,
versus the Profits is a banger.
God,
the SmackDown tag division is just insane.
No, exactly. And I was just like, I'm here. The SmackDown tag division is what Raw needs, because Raw is struggling right now. Raw has been struggling. But the Profits want to run it back with the Wyatts to get the titles back. And again, I love this pairing of the Street Profits and B-Fab. I was just like, black excellence at its finest. And then here comes, the squad of DIY and Candice LeRae just being absolutely obnoxious towards them, telling them that
hey, Triple H is finally getting his beard back.
Oh, man.
B-Fab almost fading Candice LeRae. I was like, oh my god.
You know Fab about that live. She's like, next time is on site. And I was like, girl fight.
Someone gonna die. I do feel like they're hinting at the Street Profits splitting, which makes me sad. And we talked about that for a long time, and then we talked ourselves into it and out of it back when we started this podcast. And I think they're amazing together. Who knows what they could be apart? We've seen that happen with other tag teams, which I won't get into. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Like, they get lost in the shuffle if they're separate, and that's how I feel like what happened.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So I do hope they keep them together forever, but we'll see.
And if they are going to break them up, WWE, please don't make it like some bloody affair. It's like, just let them split amicably, go do singles things for a little bit, and then bring them back together in like a year or two. Like, let them be single stars for a little bit.
Yeah.
And while leaving the door open for them to come back as a team.
It's a different podcast to talk about, Jimmy and Jay and other promotions splitting up tag teams and how they've not worked so well the last 2-3 years. So I really hope they keep them together.
Yeah. So DIY finishes this little segment out saying that now they're going to have to win this number one contenders match to get the job done in order to bring prestige back to the SmackDown tag team. So I was like, but y'all didn't want to fight the Y. Okay, never mind. Speaking of which, spoiler alert, DIY does not get the job done. But this match, there were some parts to it. I felt like there was a little bit of some miscues, but other than that, this was a pretty fun match. Number one contendership, we have DIY, Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the hottest new thing for the tag team division in SmackDown, because it's worked over so well with the crowd, is Andrade and Rey Fenix.
Which is a beautiful surprise. I'm so happy.
Which is very, very nice. Which, again, spoiler alert, to nobody's surprise. Well, I was pleasantly surprised that Andrade and Rey Fenix win, so they get a match next week on SmackDown versus the Wyatt Six.
I think that's the right call. They need something to do for Andrade because he's been sort of stuck in that "what are you doing with me? Why am I here?" place. Fenix is amazing, and if you're not going to put him with Penta, you might as well put him with another amazing performer, Lucha, like Andrade. I think they need a name. Like, I think they're almost at that point where it's like, you guys could run this for a long time. What are you? And it's working. Their cues are beautiful. They catch each other's moves. They're
the Lucha Step Bros.
Yeah, the Stunt Brothers. their tandem stuff is really clean and just fun. It's a great combination. I don't know if I love Fenix's onesie. I was a little like, you look like an oven mitt. But other than that, I'm really happy for them. I hope they don't bury him. I hope they let this run for a while.
I hope so too. So next week they're going up against the Wyatts, so that should be a pretty fun match. We get into what closes SmackDown this week, though, where we get John Cena and Cody Rhodes face to face. Cody Rhodes is here to sign the contract for the SummerSlam match. John Cena comes out. John Cena then is just like, no, this match at SummerSlam is not happening. He apologizes to the fans. You know, he's got movie stuff he's got to film. He's got other things he's got to do. So this match at SummerSlam will not be happening. And then Cody's just like, nah, like Scorpion, get over here. And just like,
I wish he did that. I wish he threw a wire with that clampy thing on it and got him right in the back.
Fatality. Watching Cody go from the top rope through the table, I was like, I forget that I'm not used to seeing Cody fly like this.
Yeah, he doesn't fly. It seems like he's turning into angry heel Cody.
Well, I mean, he does that with the table. He makes John Cena sign it. We come to find out the match at SummerSlam is going to be a street fight of all things. So that's very interesting.
Which I didn't know if someone holds your hand, it's a legally binding signature. I had no idea that's the thing. Like, I had no idea that you could be knocked out with video evidence that you were not conscious and didn't know what you were signing. And then it's law binding. Like, that's a thing.
I know we have to suspend our disbelief because it's wrestling, and I'm also thinking, but wrestling justice system is such a weird thing. If Randy Orton could get away scot-free with burning a whole man's house down, same thing. Well, wrestling, I was just like Randy Orton burning down the Wyatt's house. We had Swerve, Bean, and Ian. Like,
didn't The Rock throw Steve off a bridge and like murder him on Raw back in 1999?
We had Hangman burning Swerve's hat. Wrestling crimes is crazy. And I feel like as a podcast idea, we should like bring these to court and be like,
get a lawyer to be like, hey, so what's the crime that's committed here and what would happen? That's actually a fantastic segment, Mikey. We got to get a lawyer friend. If you know any lawyers out there.
Yes, if anybody who knows a lawyer but is also a big wrestling fan too, like I need y'all to give us the hookup because that's a fun video.
We have a segment to do once every week or two to be like, hey,
and now here's our lawyer friend to give us the breakdown of is this crime ?
We got a lot of kidnappings, we got a lot of assault, which is fine because nobody presses charges. Okay, whatever. But stuff like this, I'm like, Cody, there's a camera.
I'm writing this down. Like we are we are going to find a way to make this happen this year.
Lawyer. I actually thought John Cena stole this segment, in my opinion, because he came out like such a jerk, and it was so good.
I'm sorry. I'm filming a big movie for Netflix. Netflix knows about it. I'm sorry,
It
guys.
was so good. I was sitting there with my son and I was like, I think he's gonna blame making a movie. And the next line he had was like, but I'm shooting a movie. And I was like, oh no. And this is why they hate actors. This is why they hate people from California. And he's just playing on it, and it's perfect.
We love it.
I thought this promo kind of saved the night for me because the wrestling was fine, was great. All the other promos for the day just took me out of it. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, the 3-act structure, what we had with the MFTs and Jacob and Jimmy, I was like, we only needed one. We didn't need all that. Like
We went from 3 to 2 to cut a lot of this out, and then we started plugging it back in. I don't know, but I would not be surprised if Cena's just like, I was knocked out. I did not sign this. Like, so I hope he plays
This
it
is
up.
not a law-abiding contract.
He's
I'm the
got
GOAT.
to.
I can shut this down.
That would be the funniest thing if he turns around and it's in a courtroom and is like, "No, I didn't sign this. I'm not gonna go." He obviously.
I were
did.
wrestler's court. Insert Undertaker's theme.
Oh God! There's got to be a wrestler out there that's now a judge. There's got to be. I know Kane's.
Undertaker was like the judge for wrestler's court.
Yeah, but that
Wrestler's
was
court
like
was
back in a locker room where they were
right, but like that
up.
would everybody knows about it. It's a big thing. Like it would be hilarious.
No, you're probably.
And it's like, all right, well, Cody, John, you did sign the contract. The verdict is you have the match. You get to buy me Jack Daniels.
Yeah, they're all just there's no prison sentences. It's all stipulations. I sentenced you to 45 minutes in a cage with so-and-so.
With Umaga.
With Uma. Oh, rest in peace, Umaga.
Yeah, rest in peace, Umaga. Insert where's Teddy Long when you need him?
Dude,
The Undertaker.
Zombie Umaga? Nothing stopping Zombie Umaga. Ripping the world to
Imagine Jacob Fatu versus Umaga. That would have been a match.
So our plot lines are far more interesting than what SmackDown came up with. It's what we're talking about now.
And I mean, Cody and John Cena end SmackDown with all that, which brings us to the end of WWE. So hopefully we got 2 weeks left for crazy times for Raw and SmackDown. We are 2 weeks out from SummerSlam, which is crazy to think about.
Jeez, is it really? My goodness.
And I was just like, those watch-alongs are going to be crazy.
I can't wait to get all my picks wrong in 2 weeks.
Well, you brought up picks, right? So I didn't get to do it on Monday because I wasn't here. But I want to give us the updated predictions. We are.
At least you're not last place.
So here is how everything stands. So these are the records for the last 4 pay-per-views that we've done. SummerSlam is coming in hot to end the summer part of the prediction yearly season before we get into the fall and stuff. But here is where everybody stands. In last place is Kilt with the record of 11-11. Evolution hosed him hardcore. Coming in third place is the Professor with a record of 14-8. Second place is Minnie with a record of 16-6, and then I am barely holding on to first with 17-5. So Minnie is right on my ass when it comes to these scores.
I guess we're a little closer than I thought, but I still feel like I should do better because I keep losing on matches that I'm picking with my heart instead. And
well, SummerSlam is going to be a big one because it's 2 nights, and just like WrestleMania, it's going to either be great or it's going to host some people.
I got a bad feeling. I feel like they're going to host Naomi. I don't want to talk it into existence either, but I think they're gonna screw some folks to make a statement and to get us to watch.
True. So that is the updated predictions league. So SummerSlam is going to be in 2 weeks. So we'll see what it looks like going into the fall the part of the prediction season is going to look like for the WWE crew. But before we sign off for the evening, let me give you a preview of what's to come for the rest of this week. So tonight is we've been building weeks to it, but we are finally here. Tonight is our live watch along for TNA's Slammiversary. There is a lot of stakes and implications for how TNA is going to proceed for the remainder of 2025. We have the return of AJ Styles coming in. You know, we got on the countdown show, we get a Team TNA versus Team Fourth Rope. So like our TNA stars, our international champion, Steve Macklin, teaming up with Mance Warner and Jake something taking on Team Fourth Rope, which is crazy because it is literally the team of Josh Bishop, Enzo, as in Enzo Amore from Big Cass and Enzo. Yes, we're going by Real One. But the
Can't
one
believe
that I'm
dude is still
mostly excited
wrestling.
about it is TNA somehow being able to be like, oh, we're in New York. Let's get Fourth Row people involved. So Josh Bishop, Real One, and Zilla Fatu will be in this piece. So this is going to be nuts. So I'm excited about that. Watch along starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Ooh, howdy. It's going to be crazy. But we also got another plethora of other things coming up this week because after our watch along tonight, then here's what the rest of the schedule looks like. On Tuesday, we have our All Elite Ensemble review where we will be reviewing this past week's Dynamite and Collision.
Where did that theater graphic come from? I haven't seen that yet.
So these are all the logos of all our merchandise. If y'all go check out the merch that I also use for these graphics. So I would work. Fantastic. It only took me an hour and a half to put all these together. So this was great.
That's super cute. I like that.
Yeah. So Tuesday is All Elite Ensemble review. So the first Dynamite and Collision post All in Texas, which was, had its up points and some questions that we're going to talk about this Tuesday. And it is going to be myself and the professor. JVL will not be here, but we get the return of our new friend, Benny. Benny is going to be here for the review on this upcoming Tuesday.
Benny was great.
JVL.
Benny put up with us. He was able to throw it back at us. Benny was fun.
So I'm excited to have him and actually get to work with him a lot sooner than I thought. Then on Wednesday, we have a double dose of reviews. First and foremost, we have our NXT Losos NXT review show where we will be reviewing NXT as we are now building into our next pay-per-view for NXT, which is Heat Wave, coming up to us at the end of August. We are switching some places around, getting some new feuds established, so it should be a good time. But then later in the evening, we have our Los Lobos de la Lucha review for CMLL. So again, all these logos you can buy on our merch store because these are all the logos for our review team. So Adolfo and I and Will be covering the CMLL goodness, which is a lot of fun. Then on Thursday, I will be taking the reins from JVL as he will still be out. And I don't know how I'm going to do it because this crew is going to give me some headaches, but in the fun way, where we will be reviewing the next installment of Mystery Wrestling. We will be reviewing Mystery Wrestling 17, which has been aptly named Evil Uno's birthday bash. So it's going to be crazy. Who knows who's going to show up in this review? Supposedly it's going to be me and Jesse, and supposedly we're going to have a special guest, the Cryptid, the Jersey Devil, popping in for some odd reason. So if you want to know how that turns out, y'all should tune in Thursday. And then, of course, to round out this week, leading into the weekend, on Friday, the Six-Sided Scholars are here to review TNA's Slammiversary. So the whole TNA crew will be here to review it. And then once again, we will be back next Sunday with Dual Dynasty to cover another week of Raw and SmackDown. I love having these graphics now. They're fun.
Those are great. I mean, we would have, back in the day, we had that rule where if it was less than a 3 out of 10 empanadas, we wouldn't even look at it. Or minis. That was the mini scale.
Yeah, we were mini scale back then. Yeah.
This wasn't there. I was a little hard on it because I'm upset about the police stuff because that kind of took me out of it. But, we don't really do ratings and rankings anymore. But this one was fine. It was fine. I expected more from it. It just makes me sad that.
Right. If you want to see. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you want to read our full thoughts, make sure to follow us on the socials because the report cards gives the grade and our reasoning for it too. So,
yep, absolutely right.
So, of course, the report cards that we use here, we don't go below a C- because I don't believe, unless it's Ric Flair's retirement match, anything in wrestling can't be lower than a C- in my opinion. But C-.
Hey, that was the greatest match of all time. What do you mean? Do you look at Undertaker and Bret Hart's faces? They were ecstatic.
Yeah, and Goldberg just did the second longest match of his career. Come on, that can't be below a C-.
I hate you both. Oh my goodness, but I have missed you guys so much. I'm happy that we got back together, and hopefully next weekend. Goldberg is just staring at me, and I don't like it.
You should put him on the cat tree behind you and just have him stand there ominously.
Upside down Goldberg can't hurt you. He doesn't exist.
So
I should have him back here, huh?
I'm excited. So I'm super happy that Minnie is back and we got the crew back again. Hopefully next Sunday, the whole entire squad will be together once again, but we will find out.
See if
Thank you.
it's the guy she tells you not to worry about.
And on that note, that's going to be it for us here at Dual Dynasty. I will be back in a couple of hours, but I will be here and tagging in for the professor, and for Minnie will be JT, as well as the rest of our TNA co-hosts. And depending on the size of the room, I might be pulling in a certain GCW correspondent who leads us through our GCW stuff for the watch along for Slammiversary, because this card is stacked. I'm not even kidding.
Really? I
So-
wonder what I'm doing tonight. I might let you know.
So we'll see. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later tonight for our Slammiversary review. But until then, this is Sayonara, adios. This is Mikey El Jefe of BC WrestlePod signing out for the afternoon. And until then, peace.